I came to the conclusion at the end of this game, we were not good enough to beat Miami. I can accept that. And we just were not. And that's a tough thing to say, but we were not.
I'm sure, since we got him, everybody expected the Houston James Harden, but that's not who he is anymore. He's more of a playmaker. I thought, at times, could have been, as all of us, could have been more aggressive.
That is not who he is anymore. Those are telling words right there. And in his final 3 seasons in Houston, Harden won the scoring title each year and became the first player since MJ to average 30 points in 3 straight seasons. That version of Harden was not present this season, as he had his lowest scoring numbers since his final year in OKC. Let's bring back in Amari, Seth, and Brian Windhorst joining us as well. And Amari, I look at this, the disappointment in Philly is palpable. What happened to the 76ers last night, in your opinion?
Well, for me, I think they don't have the right supporting cast around Embiid and James Harden. Those guys need shooters around them. And so when you see James Harden attacking the basket, the court is shrunk. Miami Heat shrunk the court, so therefore there's no driving lanes for those guys because the shooters and the role players are not what they need around James and Embiid. So I think that was a difficult situation for them. But give props to Miami Heat because they played well.
Played well, played great defense. A lot of effort, Seth. Not sure I saw that from the Sixers.
Yeah, they got out tough. They got out competed. I think James Harden's a good player. He's not a great player. He's not the guy he was. But you know what? They get beat in the paint. They get beat in transition. They get beat points off turnovers. They didn't play winning basketball. I don't like their roster. And James Harden, he absolutely disappeared. I mean, he did not show up in the second half. The lack of competitive spirit is mind-boggling in an elimination game.
It's unbelievable when you think about what they brought them here, Harden therefore, Brian, and what ended up happening, what we saw in these playoffs from James Harden and the Sixers team.
Well, what Amari is talking about is what they gave up to get James Harden. They traded away all of their ancillary pieces and their ability to get future ancillary pieces to get him. And they did not trade for a player who was not going to score in the second half of an elimination game. And that's one of the things that really stood out about the way this series ended. In games 5 and 6, Harden and Embiid were not on the same page at all. It looked like Embiid felt like Harden shot too much in Game 5, so he decided to take all of the shots. I think he had 14 shots in the first half of Game 6, and then it looked to me like Harden just said, fine, you want to shoot, go ahead and shoot, and he basically didn't do anything in the second half. And when I will give Doc Rivers points for truth-telling at the end of the season. He told the truth about Ben Simmons last year, he told the truth about his team this year, and Joel Embiid told the truth about how he felt about Harden. They were much more clarity after the game than during the game.
Everybody telling the truth, but I wonder what the consequences will be. So Harden was asked after the game about his future with the Sixers.
I'll be here. Yeah, I'll be here. Whatever makes this team, whatever allows this team to continue to grow and get better and do the things necessary to win and compete at the highest level.
I'll be here. You hear that, Philly? The ball's in Harden's court this offseason. He could opt in to the final year of his contract for $47 million and become a free agent next year at age 33. Now, if he opts out, he would be a free agent this summer and would possibly be looking at a supermax contract. Look at those numbers there. 5 years, $250 million. Windy, we're all saying, wow. Windy, what's next for James Harden and the Sixers?
Yeah, I know that he said that. It's not as simple as just I want to be here. The terms at which he's going to stay are going to be everything. There's a third option, too. He could opt into the $47 million and build more years off of that. It's something other than $250. I think at this point, nobody in the NBA believes that the Sixers are going to give James Harden a max contract. So the question is, what is he willing to do? The framework, you could look at what happened with Chris Paul last year with the Suns. He opted out of a $44 million deal for this year and actually took a $14 million pay cut and then is taking another pay cut next year with the theory that the Suns are going to be able to keep that championship-level team together. Is James Harden prepared to do that? Or will he just opt in and say, I've got a $47 million option, that's what you're going to pay me, and maybe he will face only a one-year deal? These are the questions that are going to happen over the next couple of months, and I can tell you this. No matter what you think about Daryl Morey and his team building, Daryl Morey always thinks big. and he will have a plan into this summer to improve this roster, but he may need James Harden on board with it, and we'll see how much Harden is willing to play ball.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.